Welcome today to our webinar about Build Up Your Bio-Innovation Capacity, organized by the funded project BioBase4SME in cooperation with the Innovation Centers. My name is Katty van den Bulk and next to me is Tanja Meijer. She's working for the BioBase Europe pilot plant, a full mouth in Ghent in Belgium, and she's a coordinator for this project. Today we have 4 speakers with us who will tell you more about this project, and which involves a lot of funding. A lot more than funding also, not it's very important. Okay, Tanja, before I give you the floor, let me point out to the public that you are free to ask questions during the webinar. You have on your screen you see us, and on the other hand, I think it's the right hand side, you find a question box where you can type your questions. I will see it on my screen and we'll bring it into the webinar. So Tanja, it's all yours.
Thanks, Katty. Hello everybody, welcome to the webinar today. My name is Tanja and I'm working for the BioBase Europe pilot plant in Ghent, Belgium. So what is this project actually about? BioBase4SME is a 3-year project that is funded by the Interact Northwest Europe, and it's the project aim is to enhance the innovation performance of enterprises throughout the whole Northwest of Europe regions. So why do we do this webinar, and what is the webinar about? So we would like to present you in a nutshell why would the BioBase4SME benefit your innovation ideas, and why would it help you to commercialize your ideas. You can expect an overall picture of our non-technical services. The webinar actually is not intended to present the real content of the topic itself, but to give you an excellent overview from 3 of our high levels that we picked especially for you to present the first understanding of our non-technical offers. So first of all, you will hear about the BioBase4SME network and the overall project objectives by the presentation from myself. Next will be the LCA presentation. LCA, wanted, needed, but is it truly understood? A presentation about the importance and early integration of life cycle assessment in your innovation process. That will be presented by Olivier Talon, followed by the presentation of Lucy Montgomery from NFCC, who will give us a first insight into market research and analysis of feedstock availability. And last but not least, the developing a dialogue with your stakeholders, represented by Pascal Dragon, will round up your introduction of what BioBase4SME can offer to you. So most likely you heard about this webinar because we have experts all in the Northwest Europe region that are widely connected, and especially our networking partners, CLIP 2021, Flanders BioBase Valley and the University of York, responsible for our Bio-Innovation Camp that I will mention in a moment. In total, BioBase4SME is a network of 9 organizations working in 7 regions of Northwest Europe. The partners are coming from the UK, France, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, and also Ireland. So we have actually 2 countries missing, that are Luxembourg and Switzerland. So also SMEs and interested organizations can get in contact with us, and we are open for collaborations with them.
So the organization that can go to you are from Belgium, France, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Ireland.
And Ireland,
yeah. I did say the Netherlands? Yeah, probably.
The Netherlands.
Yeah, well. Don't forget them.
So we actually have all information also available on a video that is available on YouTube. I will send you the link afterwards, and I will explain in more detail different aspects of this video, so it's easier for you to understand. So within BioBase4SMEs, we offer 3 different types of support. So It's a support and also networking activities to help to commercialize your innovation or your idea when you're really fresh on the market or you want to go to the market. So the first one is our professional training and technical workshops about a specific topic. For example, bio-based business development days, pitch training for SMEs in particular, communicating sustainability, very important these days, but also technology transfer and bioeconomy. So you will actually get the latest insights of what is crucial for you in your area. And you can come also direct in contact with our experts and also with other participants to expand your networks. So we are always open for trainings and workshops for new topics. So if you have any idea of what kind of training you are in need of, you can come and get directly in contact with you, and then we can see what we can do for you and to offer training.
The workshops, are they one-to-one or one-to-many? Is it also does it involve just one enterprise, or will it involve many enterprises? If you say, okay, that's the topic, and then you can register from many companies, or is it
it's
in
for
one
many companies. So mostly all training and workshops, there's a really diverse audience from SMEs, from experts, from regional stakeholders, sometimes also from legal departments, investors sometimes we can reach out to and get for you. So it's a whole group. Yeah. So the second support we offer within this project are the innovation biocamps. So that's particular for new and innovative companies and startups working in the bioeconomy. So the bio-innovation camps comprises of 1 week, fully intensive training, mentoring and peer-to-peer learning.
For the startups, do they have already their registration number, or can it be just people who wants to start a company?
Yeah, so both are possible.
Okay.
So also if they're going to be in the process of setting up a legal entity, they can also come and join our support and our service. So for this bio-innovation camp, it will be free of charge, but you have to apply for it. So the whole biocamp is worth around 7,000 euros, fully funded. And the application process is actually already open since 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it will be 1 fully week of intensive training in the first week of June. And you can really already start your application process. I think the deadline is around 24th of April. So
how many people can join the bootcamp?
We try to have not so many people join the bootcamp, so because it's more intensive. So it will be around 20 SMEs that will join.
And how many boot camps are you going to do during the project?
We already did one last year in 2017. That was a great success. Yeah, like people were really exaggerated about it, and then there will be this summer the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last support we're giving within this project are the innovation services. And it's in form of a coupon to really access specialized services that are mainly in the focus of non-technical service, but also in the focus of technical service.
Okay.
So I will present this to you a little bit more in detail. So non-technical service and technical service are both very important to address and to build up within your development of the bio-innovation capacity, because it's really important that they work together. It's not only technical development that you need for your innovation idea. So for example, for the non-technical service, NNFCC could do a market research for you. Are you in need of life cycle analysis? Materia Nova could help you. And if you have trouble with public opinions, AC3A can support you in your strategy for social acceptance throughout the training. So most of the coupons require a co-financing from 50%. Only the service, that's now the technical coupons, only the services for application testing, testing for fibers, bioplastics, lignin, bio-based solutions that are facilitated by Riven are fully funded and worth 4,000 euros.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really, really good, yeah, from the Netherlands. But also, for example, pre-pilot equipment for anaerobic digestion and pyrolysis that is facilitated by TCBB Resource in Ireland is possible to get a coupon for. The biggest coupon is worth maximum 100,000 euros, and it's mainly for the BioBase Europe pilot plant. So they can help you with the upscaling of your biotech process, optimizing your downstream process, or create a first batch, for example. And I really would like to quickly say a few more about the BioBase Europe pilot plant. It's an 8-year-old spin-off from the University of Ghent, and it provides technical service and pilot equipment, because you always have the challenge to overcome the valley of death between lab scale and industrial implementation.
Yep.
There's always a high risk. So this pilot plant is fully independent as it has no shareholders, and at the moment we have 64 full-time workers, employees. Yep. So within 8 years, that's a great success of growing. That's why we also have inauguration of a new investment for hall and equipment for gas fermentation and downstream processing. And I really would kindly invite you to our impact event on the 19th of February in Ghent, Belgium.
Okay, nice.
You will get more information after the webinar as well. So how would that work if you would be interested in apply for a coupon? Yeah, how is that working? So nothing easier than that. Get in contact with your bio-innovation agent from your region. So you can have already support in writing the application and really defining your topic, how the coupon could support you.
And it's clear on the website where you can find your innovation agent in the region? Yeah.
So as I said before, there are 7 regions, and really each region has a dedicated bio-innovation agent. So there's the name, the company, the phone number, email. It's all available. Yeah, because we want to have a bigger network. So when you're writing your application process or your application papers, it's roughly between 4 and 6 pages in total. So we try to make it very SME friendly. So the evaluation process then itself is as follows. So in the beginning of each month, so we have a monthly evaluation through the management board.
But you can apply during the whole year, just the evaluation is once a month.
Exactly. So with your bio-innovation agent, you get in contact, you write the application papers, and you can hand it in every time. And in the beginning of the month, we do the evaluation and the vote from the management board. Because there are 4 different important criteria. For this one, you have to be an SME. Or you have to be very close to be an SME in the duration of the project. The innovativeness has to be given. Team expertise should be there. Feasibility, of course, and the business opportunity should also be there. There are always, or very often happens, that there are remaining questions and unclarities, but this can be solved within a couple of days. And then, the vote is there to go for your application. So let me give you a few takeaways. As I said, the applications, the calls are open until end of the year. So coupons are available for non-technical service, but also for technical services. In the first week of February, we will have a training about developing dialogue with your stakeholders. This will be more explained with Pascal. And the 19th of February is starting the impact event of our new equipment. So the biggest networking event in Belgium, of course, now again. And the first week of June is the bio-innovation camps, where the application process is already open. So that was the introduction to the project. So I wish you great fun with the following presentations.
Okay, welcome back. Our next speaker is Olivier Talon. He's from Materia Nova and he's going to tell us more about life cycle assessments. It's really important, I guess, in bioeconomy.
Yes,
Yes.
sure, and I hope it will be clear why after that. So I am from Materia Nova Research Center based in Belgium. We are active in various fields of material science, including polymers, biotechnology, surface treatment, etc. And we are also involved in the evaluation of the sustainability of innovation.
Yeah.
So first question is to the audience, would you say that the bio-based products, or to anybody, would you say that bio-based products are green products? Would you get it?
Yeah, I probably think so.
Yes, of course. You think so,
Yeah.
but I would say it depends, in fact.
Okay.
Would you say
It's
that...
not a straightforward answer then.
No. Would you say that bio-based products are at least better for climate change?
I will hope so.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
But the real answer is it depends. Also.
Yeah, okay.
It always depends.
Yeah.
So if you are active in the development and commercialization of bio-based products, do you intend to make environmental claims about these bio-based products?
It depends. No, not the right answer.
Well, if you're sure they're really green, you should.
Okay.
Did you know that LCA could help you to document environmental claims and improve greenness of your bio-based products?
Yeah, I think I was.
You was
that
aware
far.
of that.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe some do not really know what LCA is, so maybe I will start with that. But I think first thing to say is that many people would say, why should I prove it's green anyway? It's bio, so it's green. So as I said earlier, it depends.
Yeah.
Why do we think that it's green because it's bio? Because bio-based products are often regarded as green because of the origin of the carbon they contain. In other words, if you use biofuel from biomass, when you burn it, you only return recent carbon to the atmosphere. But when you use fossil fuel and you burn it also, you add ancient carbon to the atmosphere. And now you are responsible for global warming.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not that simple.
Of course.
When it comes to environment, it's never that simple. Because you may need to use fossil fuels anyway to grow the biomass you use. You may need to use fossil fuels anyway to transform into bio-based products the biomass you use. You may need to use a larger amount of the bio-based product to reach the same function because it has different properties.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there are other environmental issues than climate change, of course. So you need to take into account basically not only your production process, but also to consider how your raw material were produced. You need also to consider how your product is to be used and to make comparisons based on a similar functionality. And also you need a multi-criteria tool that will give answers about other impacts than climate change. In other words, what you need is LCA. And now you may ask, yes, remind me, what is LCA? So in a very few words, because some in the audience maybe already know it, what is LCA? LCA quantifies the exchanges, flows exchange between a system, the system under study, and the environment all along the life cycle of the product. So what we do, here we put in a big box the product and its life cycle from the extraction of raw materials to end-of-life treatment. And that includes production steps, use steps, etc., transport. And we consider what comes from the environment, that is raw materials, but also primary energy and so on, land use, and what goes back to the environment, air emissions, emission of pollutants to water also, or to soil. Then LCA makes links between these flows and a series of environmental impact categories, such as climate change, of course, but also acidification or toxicity. And for each flow, for each substance emitted to the air, for example, we know on which category of impact it has an influence. For example, here you can see that methane, CH4, has, of course, an impact of climate change, but also on ozone depletion.
Yeah.
And then LCA translates these flows into environmental impact, and you can have nice graphic representations like this one. You can have several graphical representations of the results based on which you can discuss, try to optimize the impacts of your product and quantify it, know if it's better than another, etc.
And that's for the LCA analysis. They can come to you and with the vouchers that they have,
yes,
and ask for help, because it's quite a lot that they have to take into account.
Yes, it's kind of complex because you need information on maybe steps of the life cycle you never thought about.
Yeah.
So it's better to use the service of experts maybe
Yeah.
to start the process.
Especially in the beginning when you're a starter in the bioeconomy, ask for an expert to help you. Yeah, that you really take everything into account.
Yeah. So we are for talking about bioeconomy, so bio-based products. So what are the results you can expect when you do LCA for comparing a bio-based product to a non-bio-based product? So, as I said earlier, it depends. The base case is illustrated here by an example where you obtain better impact, better results for almost all impact categories. So this is good, and if you obtain that, you can say my product is green.
Can you explain perhaps the table or figure?
Yes, here we have an histogram with bars.
Yeah.
For each couple of bars you have one impact category, so climate change, eutrophication, toxicity. I can't read exactly what's here, but and horizontal stripes are for sandwich composite made of polyurethane.
Yeah.
And vertical bars are for bio-based composite made of cork.
Yeah, okay, so
And here we compare based on similar functionality, because it's not the same mass for both products. Based on the same functionality, we compare the environmental impacts of all. Yeah. And for all impact categories, for this case, that was taken from scientific literature, the bio-based product performs better.
Yeah. Okay.
The worst case, and this you may fear, is that the bio-based product could be worse even for climate change. That may happen, and in many cases when it happens, it's due to poor maturity of the product and the process for making it, and it can be improved by further eco-design efforts. Okay. That's why starting LCA early in the innovation process can be very interesting, because this is at the beginning of the innovation process that you can
still can redesign,
obtain the best results from redesign, eco-design, etc. Okay. And the most usual case, so the results you should expect, is here. The ranking depends on the impact category. Yeah. So here it's starch-based foam versus expanded polystyrene foam. And for global warming potential, the starch foam performs better, but for eutrophication potential, for example, here, the expanded polystyrene performs better. So when you come to such results, the next keyword will be trade-off. You will have to know what you want to optimize first. You have to consider which impact categories mean most to you than the other.
And can they have help from your organization to make that balance? Because also that seems very difficult.
Yes, they can have help from our side to interpret and better understand what's behind the results, and maybe for deciding which impact category is most relevant, the input of the stakeholders can be something important, and that's why maybe it's a good thing to hear the speech of Pascal Dagron at the end of this webinar, because he will say things about stakeholders and social acceptance. Yeah. Because here the trade-off, the choice, it's ethical or political question. Yeah. So, brief conclusions. The origin of carbon in a bio-based product is usually a good point, but it's not enough to make it green. And a product may be bio-based and yet have a problematic environmental footprint. So LCA will help you justifying environmental claims and identifying where eco-design efforts make sense. And last but not least, I would say also that eco-design of a product may lead finally to a diminution of production cost, and that's important. Here it's an example from a study in the Basque region, where it was shown that for half of the products studied, the costs were significantly lower for the bio-based, for eco-designed, not bio-based, eco-designed products than for the not eco-designed counterpart. Okay. So LCA vouchers are still available in the BioBase4SME project, so you can finance as a bioeconomy startup this type of studies, so come and talk to us. Now, my question is, would you go now for an LCA study? Are you convinced?
Yeah, probably, yeah, really. I already believe that it's very important. So
we can start that tomorrow.
Especially with help and with the funding, yeah, it seems very interesting.
Maybe in the audience some have further questions, such as, I would need to know more, I don't see how we can do it with my products. In some cases it's more complicated. Maybe people may think that it's too early to do that because they're at the very beginning of the process, they are far from market, and maybe they're not sure that it would be worth the cost. So for all these questions, we can have find answers together. But what I really want to stress is that it's never too early to start thinking eco-design, to start thinking life cycle.
And to start a discussion and to talk about it, and to see how far you can get. Yeah. And
that's all from my side.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Next to me is now Lucy Montgomery of NFFCC. It's very difficult. She's going to tell us more about market research.
That's right. So before I talk too much about market research, I should maybe explain what I am. So I'm a bioeconomy consultant at NNFCC, a very difficult acronym.
Yeah.
So what is a bioeconomy consultant at NNFCC? Basically, NNFCC is a small company based in the north of England, so we're also an SME. And we're a consultancy, so we answer questions. And we're a very specific consultancy. We only answer questions related to the bioeconomy.
Okay.
So everyone in our team used to be a scientist in academia, in industry. And I always say, we can answer any question in the bioeconomy that you don't have to answer in a lab.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
It's really a niche.
It really is. We're very specific. But our aim is to help organizations understand the opportunities and challenges in the bioeconomy. So that could be the government on what they can do to help the bioeconomy and what advantages it can bring to a country. Or it can be companies who are just starting in the bioeconomy for the first time. We also work with researchers to help them in, for example, Horizon 2020 projects to develop exploitation plans for how the project can live on after the project is really finished.
Yeah.
So how they can take their results into the factories of the world.
Yeah, and into commercial products.
Exactly. And so in BioBase4SME, NNFCC is a service provider, and we provide three main services: market analysis, value chain analysis, which is mostly looking at the availability of feedstocks, and business planning.
That's really important, value chain
Yeah.
in bioeconomy.
So yeah,
Yeah.
markets and value chains are the two big parts of the
Mhm,
business plan
mhm.
that are particularly
Yeah.
challenging in the bioeconomy. And actually, market analysis and value chains are part of your business plan.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to try and explain it in the context
Okay.
of a business plan.
Perfect.
I guess, Kati, being the Innovation Centre, you already know a lot about business plans.
Yeah.
Do you ever use the business model canvas?
Yeah, of course.
I saw outside. I saw the lean
Yeah.
canvas.
Yeah, but we also use business model canvas
Okay.
across throughout. So
Well, I
yeah.
hope some other people in the audience know the business model canvas. If you don't worry. A business plan is very simple. It's a business model in the business environment, and a business model is your idea and how you're going to make money from it.
Mhm.
And the business and model environment is everything that affects your ability to make money from your idea that you can't control. And the business model canvas is basically a tool that people use to help plan that out and to help communicate it to other people, for example, to investors. Unfortunately, the citation is missing on this, but the idea was developed by a Swiss financial researcher, Alexander Osterwalder.
Yeah.
So basically, your value proposition is in the middle. That's your idea. Your customer's on the right-hand side. Who's going to buy it? The customer relationship is how you communicate with the customer, how you tell them about your product, and the channels are how they buy it, how do they interact with you. On the left-hand side, you've got your key activities. What do you need to do to make this idea happen? Your key resources, what things do you need for it? And your key partners, who needs to help you to do it? On the bottom, you have how much is the whole thing going to cost and how much money you're going to get back. So this is all very straightforward. And in the bioeconomy, I would argue there's an extra line, which is how much does it cost to the environment and
Yeah.
how much does it benefit the environment.
Yeah.
So that's maybe missing in this diagram. And at NNFCC, what we do is we look at your business model and we make sure the assumptions that you've made are correct. Because we're all experts, we know a little bit more about it. We look at the risks that maybe you've forgotten, and we check through your financial projections to make sure it's logical
Yeah.
based on what we know about the bioeconomy. Now, the business model is in a business model environment, and again, this is by the same people. They use these 4 sectors to describe the environment that affects your ability to make money out of your idea. So this is industry, competition, things like that. The economy, so that could be feedstock prices or sort of the global markets. Then you have the actual customers, the markets, and society, which could include things like regulations.
Yeah.
And so the market research that we do tends to fall on kind of the right-hand side of the screen, although it does involve society and economy. And the feedstock and availability, value chain stuff we do tends to fall on the left side of this diagram, but it does kind of involve all sectors. So when it comes to market research, what do? Well, the basic is we look at the potential market size. How many people would buy your product? How much product would you have to make? Are the different segments? So if it's a plastic, would you use it for consumables like packaging? Would you use it for textiles? Would you use it for electronics or engineering? And are there different regions that it sells in better? We'd also look at the future market, in particular if there's any new legislation coming into force that would make it better for you to sell your product. We also look at switching issues for customers. So a bio-based product can't always replace a petroleum-based product. So for example, if you have a paint, it might not be as easy to paint the wall, it might not flow in the same way, it might not stick to the wall in the same way. So we will talk to customers and find out what problems they would have switching. There might be societal and cultural issues, in particular if you're using waste, if you're using animal products or GMOs, you might be surprised at people's reactions to that.
Yeah.
And Pascal will talk about this a little bit at the end with social acceptance and how you can get those stakeholders involved early on so they can help you. And regulatory issues are always a big problem in the bioeconomy. We also look at pricing. So you see bioproducts in the shop, they're expensive. You assume you can get more money for your bioproduct, but you can't.
Most of the time that's not the case.
No, but we can give you some idea of how much you will get for your product.
Yeah, okay.
We also look at oil prices and politics, which affect the kind of competition that you're dealing with. we also look at a whole range of downstream and upstream issues that maybe you don't know about because it's not your key business. We look at the potential competition, so who else holds patents in this area? That's always a big clue. If some of the big manufacturers have patents in this area but they don't make it, that's maybe an alarm.
Or other products that need the same ingredient, for instance,
I'll come
maize.
to that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll come to that. And basically we aim to find any barriers and risks that you haven't already found. For feedstock availability, we start with the basics. What feedstock is available now and how much does it cost? Have there been any availability issues in the past related to drought or logistics or, I don't know, climate change? Logistics might not be an issue when you're at a research phase, but when you scale up, things like drying and storage could be huge issues, especially if it's something like straw or biomass. We also look at the potential competing demand, so not only who else is using it now, but for example, if you use waste and the waste is free, as soon as other people want to use that waste, it can be very expensive. And when that does happen, which other feedstocks might be available to you? So we can help with that. And we also look at global conditions, again, things like oil price or climate change, and how that might affect the availability and price of your feedstock. So basically, I have some take-home messages for you. Market analysis and feedstock availability is a little bit complicated. It does involve a lot of factors, but understanding the market is really important so that you know how much you'll be able to sell, so how much money you'll earn, and understanding feedstock supply is really critical so that you know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, as I understand, for the bioeconomy, it's more complicated than for a non-bioeconomy, because there are many factors involved, more than usual. Also the competition, you don't know who else is going to use your stuff, so something to consider about.
But hopefully it's clear that you can definitely do the basics yourself. The business part isn't really hard, but we would really recommend you get professional support to get all the details. Make sure an expert checks over your business plan and your assumptions.
And see that everything is taken into account.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And if you're listening and you need market research, either because you're starting a new business or because you're expanding your business into a new part of the bioeconomy, get in touch, because we still have coupons available through BioBase4SME. And there are so many channels to get in touch with us. If you contact any of us, we can forward you to the next person. It's on the website, it's on Twitter. It's all over.
It's all over. Okay, perfect. Next to me is our final speaker, Pascal Dagrand, from AC3A. And he's going to tell us more about the social acceptance. Please.
Yes,
you can use this to go through your slides.
Okay. Social acceptance is the third part of this presentation during this webinar. It could be the first one, the first presentation, because and I will talk about what is social acceptance, but we think that social acceptance will be when the manager install its organization, new products, and his enterprises. We think that social acceptance could be the first level, the first part, the first things to do to develop your business. But in this presentation,
it's the final.
It's the final. So, to start, like my colleagues, some words about the organization. AC3A. AC3A is a farmer organization, and I come from north in the southwest of France, and farming is or agriculture sector is very interested to develop the bioeconomy and mainly the bio-based products. So that's why we were involved in the BioBase4SME project. Chambers of Agriculture are a public organization and responsibility to develop with the agriculture sector and rural sector the question about economy, policy, environment, and new products like the bio-based product. And EC3A is an association of 27 chambers of agriculture of the west part of France, interested to work together and to have connection with other organizations in Europe. And so that's why we have the pleasure to be in BioBase4SME project. Interreg project, for example, are a very good way to develop new ideas with for farming and with other enterprises, other sector. We want to make the connection with the bio-based sector in agriculture because agriculture for the moment is not very involved in the bio-based economy, and that's why we think it's important to do that. The knowledge is not enough developed, so we think that with this kind of operation like this webinar, we could use this information to involve more and to train farmers on this. But also we are interested by the other sector and mainly SMEs working around the agriculture, and we think that agriculture can provide some products for bio-based SME organization.
Yeah, you need the interaction between both of the sectors to go further, and to take further steps into the bioeconomy.
Yeah. And we think that one important support is about the social acceptance, and I will speak now about it.
Okay, perfect.
The context is for a lot of organizations and former organizations, former companies. There is a real problem without integrating consumers, integrating stakeholders, integrating all the environment people, all the people all around their activity. So we are talking about your local stakeholders. And the second point, we think that social acceptance is necessary to put out the barrier and objection that people could have about the project, the new products, etc., etc. So this scheme is important because you see on the top of this small house, this is the SME with its new products, new process, and maybe new SME, new organization. And there is on the bottom there is people they are in favor of your project, and you know them, and it's an estimation 10-15%. And there is also people they are against, opposed to your project, and you know them. But in the middle, there is a lot of people. They don't know you, you don't know them. That's why social acceptance is very important to involve these people. So there is two important tools necessary to be developed to work in social acceptance development. The first one is your credibility. You have to be credible about what you are, what you do, and you have to explain to all the people, and mainly those stakeholders not involved, not in contact with you. You have to explain why you are credible and why it is important.
But if you don't know them, how can you reach for them?
we have we have tools to involve people.
Okay, perfect.
But during this presentation, I will not present those tools. I only explain
the importance.
Yeah. And you have to be legitimate to do that.
Okay.
And in an enterprise, who is legitimate to develop the legitimacy of the enterprise? The manager.
The manager, yeah.
That's why we invite all the manager to be involved in this activity of social acceptance. You need to explain your vision, your long-term vision, and you need to also involve the stakeholders to help you to imagine your activity and its development.
Okay.
So, social acceptance, local acceptance, because you want to involve the people that are around you, your neighbors, for example. And this question is growing in the literature. Big enterprises are very aware about this question, and we think that very small enterprises and very small VSEs are necessarily concerned by this question of this local acceptance. And it's also important for innovators, because when you innovate, of course, you are a strange person. So you have to ensure people that your innovation is safe, is healthy, anything is good for the territory. And so it's a challenge for SME managers, and SME managers are invited for training. Okay. That's why we want to propose to you a training session where you could develop tools to create a dialogue with your stakeholders. So the first step, like you said, is how I can do to meet my stakeholders. So we will propose to you different tools to meet this person, this stakeholder, this public. So the training will be presented in Lille on the 5 and 6 February. So if you are the public interested to know more about social acceptance, you are invited at this session to mainly avoid barriers for your development and to develop new projects. And I think you could meet during this training other SMEs promoters and managers, and so it could be interesting to you to see.
And to discuss with them what barriers they have and how they solved it, and interact with them and with you, of course.
So there is a theory behind the tools about what is social acceptance one day, and the other day was a workshop about using tools by the participant at the. So there is some tools here about this training. There is a trademark avec, that means with the people in French, and so we will develop these different tools. So you have example there. It's not important to talk about it because we will have the possibility to propose it, and that. We think that the manager of the SME might be the most important person in social acceptance development. That's why we will deliver a guide with all explanation about the interest of social acceptance for them. And so you are invited at this training, and the cost of the training is covered by the project, so it's free.
It's nice.
Yeah, and
So to all the managers, just register. Is there a stop for registration? How many people can come to the training?
I made a dream this night, because I reserved in Lille a room.
Yeah.
It's about 20%.
Okay.
And it was a kind of nightmare, you know, because there is
that you have 50
people. 50 people. It was too much, and you know, so you can use the and it is the end of the presentation. Thank you, Katie.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Pascal.